We're very proud to present yet another path-breaking project, the Gurukul app by Avanti Fellows, supported by Capgemini. Now, did you know that only 1 in 30 students from the disadvantaged backgrounds actually make it to India's top STEM colleges? 1 out of 30. Now, the Gurukul app is actually here to change that. This free online platform is designed to provide high quality study material, live interactive classes, practice tests and assessments, resources for JEE, NEET, and CT exams. All of these in multiple languages to ensure inclusivity and accessibility. This initiative underscores the power of collaboration in education, where innovation meets compassion to create real opportunities for underprivileged students. To share more about this impactful project, please welcome Mr. Akshay Saxena, co-CEO and co-founder of Avanti Fellows. Let's give him a big round of applause, everybody.
Students from economically disadvantaged homes are severely underrepresented in India's top 500 STEM colleges. Each year, only 1 out of every 30 students from these backgrounds qualifies into top-tier engineering, medical, architecture, and STEM professional colleges. In stark contrast, students who can afford expensive coaching are 17 times more likely to qualify. Over the past 15 years, Avanti Fellows has partnered with 9 large government school systems to help bridge this divide. Today, there are over 55,000 students learning in our programs across the country. In 2024, we partnered with Capgemini to build Avanti Gurukul, a free online learning platform where any child in India can access high-quality academic content, including videos, live classes, tests, and assignments.
At Capgemini, we envision a future where everyone has equal access to digital skill and opportunities, irrespective of their background. Through collaborative projects, we are committed to empower and uplift the marginalized communities, fostering inclusivity and sustainable progress. By powering Avanti Gurukul, we aim to bridge the educational gap in India, enabling millions of students access to high-quality resources for the competitive exams in STEM. This initiative aligns with our CSR commitment to promote inclusive and equitable education, especially in the field of STEM, which I feel is extremely important for development of our nation.
Over the next decade, we aim to grow our program to reach over 300,000 students each year. Catalytic support from partners like Capgemini is a critical part of this mission. It is through their flexible long-term support that we are able to build large-scale technology platforms that serve every student in the country. We at Avanti are grateful for this support and partnership and hope that we will be able to build an even deeper relationship over the next decade.
Firstly, really happy to be here. I think it's rare that we can all assemble on a, I think many partners here from Utsar, who's I think our first partner in Haryana when we started this work, especially during COVID. And I think perhaps to build a little bit on what Anand talked about, and I think we're in the very early days of understanding what technology can do for our children. And I think when I say our children, I mean 90% of children in India who don't have access to much. And I think what's been incredible, and to a big degree this happened during COVID, was to see that when provided with resources, these children really, latch on to them, find ways to use them. And I think the other big factor here is that governments across the country, and this is government systems across the country, are willing to take risk. Whether it is in Haryana, in the Navodaya system, in many school systems that we work in, big investments have been made. Some have worked well, some are still trying to figure out how to work. But I think there is a huge momentum around investment and risk-taking. Because I think collectively we realize that this is the future. Right? The way the children are going to engage with content and is through technology. And often they are going to guide us on what we need to build. And which is why it's really, really important that we have digital public goods, which is that open source software that others can build on top of, that they can take, that states can adopt, ways in which we can integrate into public systems. Avanti's work is very narrow in some ways compared to what Anand was talking about. Right? We focus on largely the top 3 or 4, 5% children academically, and we work with state governments to find ways in which they can end up in the top 3, 4, or 5% STEM colleges in India. And in that work, till even I would say 3 or 4 years ago, all of our work was very high touch in physical programs, in residential programs. And it's only in the last few years that we've started to find some success with online programs. It started off with children participating on WhatsApp groups, then us finding ways to do live classes with them, using Google Meet or Zoom or a variety of other technologies. But we're starting to also realize that there are children, young girls in rural Himachal Pradesh who will find a mobile phone and access an online class and still clear the exam. And there's the interfaces they need as well as the engagement mechanisms they need are very different from what a Baiju looks like, or what any other commercial edtech would look like. Also, I think it's quite empowering to work with a lens where we're not trying to take money from them. Right? Like our main objective is that they learn. So it will require, I think, a very different form of design, collaboration, thinking, feeling. And I think I'm very, very grateful for partners like Capgemini who are willing to fund this experimentation. Because these kinds of grants are very important because we may not get it right the first time. Right? We probably won't. But I think it will not be only one of us who solves the problem. It will be a multitude of us. And just to give you a little bit of sense of what we've done with the platform, I think this started off during COVID. Initially, it was a bunch of just links on WhatsApp. Gradually, we built a bunch of web interfaces that work on WhatsApp. This was an attempt to kind of bring all of that together in a single platform. As things stand, we have about, actually I said 55,000 in the video, and we just launched another program, so now it's 75,000. But about 75,000 children who are doing something or the other, either taking assessments or attending classes. I think this number will go to about 150,000 next year. And the goal is to get this number as high as possible, and largely in partnership with state governments, to get it to close to 1 million students, so that then we can find perhaps 25, 30, 40,000 students who really benefit from this approach. Like last year, there were about 10,000 students who graduated. Then we got about 2,500 children into these top 5% colleges. This year, the goal is to get to about 3,500. So for us, the numbers probably at the end of the funnel are going to be small. But our hope is that the impact that those children have on their lives, their own lives, but also lives of the communities is massive. So very excited to start this journey, and hopefully there'll be more fun updates in the future. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saxena, and congratulations on the launch of Avanti.